I think that money came out of her computer fund.
Computer fund? Mm-hmm. Did she get them through us then, or did she buy them on her?
Oh, she got them through us.
Okay.
That's the health
Health
department.
department, yeah. HD. I couldn't figure that one out.
Could be hard drive.
Hard drive, yeah. Hard
Could
drive.
be Henry David.
Hard drive is where I was going, I thought.
Hard drive share of a tow motor.
Yeah, what's hard drive got to do with a tow motor?
High definition.
Well, when I saw that threw me. I thought the same thing.
Okay. All right.
Okay, would there be a motion to approve then and now?
I will make that motion.
A second.
Okay, is there further discussion? Hearing none. Anna?
Jeff Myers,
Yes.
Glenn Miller,
Yes.
Bill Hopkins.
Yes.
This resolution is approved. Don't have anything else for us? Okay. Well, let's see, when's 9:30 Tracy and Tracy's coming in.
Okay.
I'll check at 10:30.
Did he bring the budget sheets out here? Are we supposed to work on them yet, or?
Yeah, I started on them.
Huh?
I started
Oh,
on
have you?
I'm
Okay.
gonna scan them in
Okay.
and, see where it goes, so we can pull it up on
Okay.
the screen.
Okay.
It shouldn't be too difficult to do, there's no change.
Right. Not right now.
Well, there is, on the, elected official salary.
Right, that'd be the only change, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this where we rub it in, just you and me? Yeah. He caught on
I don't
that.
think he heard you.
I did not. You talking budget?
We almost, yeah, that's what we were, yeah, elected official salary.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have to.
You gotta rub it,
A little bit of slack.
even if he's the new guy, you can't cut him all that slack, yeah.
There was enough, going on yesterday, or keeping score next door.
Bad over there?
Yeah, Jeff was the first one to strike.
I got catching up to do though.
You got,
Yeah. It was, the health commissioner came over and we were talking about some stuff. So,
Okay.
you know how things go, they got a little carried away, which, he came over extremely frustrated with, an entity here in the county, over that direction,
Oh,
not here in town.
oh, okay.
And, he needed to vent, so. So I think Christopher started on him, something about the sea captain or something, seer. It was kind of well on. Okay, we did, Sherry Carnahan from Defiance County did email a sketch of their desk.
Oh, yeah,
And
okay.
so I emailed it, I think I emailed it to both you and Jeff.
Was that an attachment on there?
Yeah, it would have been a PDF.
I didn't see that one. You say it was on email?
Yeah. Unless I forgot.
That's okay.
I think I just sent it this morning.
Oh, okay. Right here, yeah, that's just,
Here's what it looks like.
okay. Good.
That's
It is nice, I like their setup, but we're thinking of doing a table like that too here then,
Yeah.
for presenters, yeah.
We had, that will be part of the CARES grant. We had the estimate to redo Anna's window.
Mm-hmm.
And, did you see the picture that Lindsay sent?
No, I didn't. Of the VAT, yes, I saw that, yes.
And, the extended part
Yeah,
will be up, is it the same height?
She decided to keep it the same height, I guess. That way the witch room could.
Yeah, they weren't gonna have to deal with
Okay.
wood trim.
Okay.
And she said, I'm not sure where I'm going to go, for someone to make us new.
okay,
It was, this original trim was done by Seneca something in,
yeah,
Fostoria.
oh, yeah,
Well, I checked while Lindsay was here, and the place still exists,
oh, okay.
at least according to, the Google search.
Okay, Fergie could probably do it, I don't know, you can do about anything.
Yeah, if you've got the right knives and
The right
stuff
stuff,
to
yeah.
create, to be able to create
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I have no clue how they do that, if he can come in and make a template out of that and, and set his stuff up, I don't know. Don't know. So did we talk more about, building the desks then?
Yeah,
Okay,
actually, Gary Graber came in from Graber
okay,
Cabinet,
okay,
and he spent quite a while there. I showed him my drawing.
yeah.
And then I also sent him a copy of this,
Uh-huh.
my sketch, and so he started measuring and on, and, he'll get a number back to us.
Who did theirs?
A company in Paulding.
In Paulding, okay.
Mhm. And I've got the contact information.
Okay. I'd say that one of the concerns we have to have, and even when we consider bidding, if we have to bid, is we don't want somebody that's gonna take 6 months to build it. We're gonna need to, of course, I don't know, maybe it'll take that long. It shouldn't, but,
I would say a week.
It's not super fancy.
yeah, it would be.
It's
No.
not real complex.
Yeah, it's not a lot of
No.
trim work or anything, just,
There will be some security features built in.
yeah.
Can't talk about it.
Yeah, right.
Unless we go into executive session.
No, that's okay.
But, that is being researched and have an idea
Okay.
of a lighter,
Material,
yeah.
okay.
And then, to make accommodations for that, then Lindsay came in yesterday afternoon, and we talked about, those two doors there by you,
Mm-hmm.
going on the backside, that finish out.
Yeah.
And, she thought she's planning on her guys rescuing that trim that's there.
Oh, okay. This here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. The carpet would come out, and she's going to, bring some samples of what she thinks would work.
Okay.
I said, just as long as it's not carpet
Kind of
squares.
squares.
But then I did let, okay, if you find one that's really looks, but.
Maybe if it's got OSU logo, we could put it there.
No.
I like OSU.
And then one, well, why can't I have OU? Mhm. But really, overall, for 16 years old, this carpet's in pretty decent shape.
Yeah.
The most traffic's right
Yep,
through
you
here.
can see where the
There's not
traffic is,
that
yeah.
much, but it was every day over there.
Yeah.
Going over here to.
Yeah.
Where Vicki and Lisa
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
Christie were.
Yeah,
But also to take out that counter
mm-hmm.
and take out the L and open that back up.
Unless we, put a wall there. Yeah.
Lindsay asked if we wanted to do that now or tear out that tear out that bulkhead.
Yeah.
I think that's, I just thought myself, leave the bulkhead in now.
Yeah, for right now, yeah. Yeah.
And if we have a meeting where, because of the way, basically the center of the desk is going to be pretty well facing the door.
Yeah,
So the chairs will be set this way.
okay,
We could use that if we have a big meeting,
yeah,
to maintain social distance, we could use that area over there
yeah.
until we find some other purpose for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because it'd be a wall there if we put a wall up, or even if we don't put a wall up, then we could, maybe it's best we leave that open until, for a while.
Well, until, my thought is, until the commissioners know what they really want to do with
Yeah,
it,
right,
we just leave it.
Yep. Yeah, I think so too. That would maybe give us our extra galley space, yeah. So we're gonna kinda have this thing angled in the corner area, I think.
Well, it will pretty well follow,
Yeah,
the chair will set right here.
okay.
And there'll be a wing off, it would, so we can maintain the social distancing.
Yeah.
It will come down to about, the end of the desk will be about right
Yeah,
here.
okay.
And then,
What about the other side of that thing there?
it's on it's past, a little bit past the flag.
Yeah, okay.
Because there would be, commissioner, 6 feet, however you
Get a
figure.
good commissioner.
Commissioner, another, from, the edge of the chair to the next chair would be Christie.
If we take that out of there, she could almost sit over there. If we take that, I'm just throwing out ideas, if we take that counter out,
Well, she can sit there now.
yeah. I mean, she does sometimes anyhow, and we work from there, but if we take that counter out, she'd be able to see us directly, she should be able to hear us okay. I mean, that's what Defiance had before, you know what I mean? They had her on the other side of the room, where she wouldn't really be on the other side of the room, she'd be just off the big desk, I don't know.
That's a thought.
What does that desk look like in there? I mean, if she would keep this out. And this goes down here and then kind of angles that way. We're gonna take all this stuff out of here and anything, or not?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's kind of far away. Is she sitting
Well,
there?
I was gonna say, Christie is really a major,
Yeah.
is a major part of our,
Yeah.
of the meeting.
Yeah, and over
And,
here,
she
even
needs,
if the desk comes out to by the flag there, she's got her back, you know, one of us is gonna have her back to her, whoever sits, well, not really, but, yeah.
I like the convenience of her sitting close to us, because you gotta in papers and
Yeah, it
well,
is.
things like that.
yeah, if you read through, commissioner's manual.
Mhm.
The commissioners are doing a lot of things that the clerk should be doing as far as reading resolutions.
Yeah,
writing that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I know.
And, so,
Yeah, probably should be up close.
procedurally, we need to change some
Well.
things, and I really, to hand resolutions.
Yeah, yeah. Because once I walked over there, it's quite a ways. It's quite a ways.
Yeah, it is.
Further than a lot.
And it would also be mic'd.
Yeah, yeah.
The intent would be, we would get some more of these.
Yeah.
These type of microphones, the intent would be to set them on top of the privacy, wall or whatever.
Mhm. Yep. Well, this is the one that she's coming in today, or she's gonna have a meeting, the Zoom meeting here. Yeah, I did read these.
Ryan knows that Bill Meyer is coming in, and will be here, if he's got video or whatever.
Okay, he said he probably wouldn't, but.
You never know. Ryan was aware of it. Did you read, Bob, that Jim Hoops was appointed to the House Select?
Yes, I saw that.
For House Bill 6.
House Bill 6, yeah.
That's a big deal.
That's exactly what I thought, that's a big deal.
Really
Yeah,
big deal.
I gotta send him a text yet,
Yeah.
that's a big deal. Yeah,
He called me Tuesday after lunch,
yeah.
or I was still home for lunch,
Mm-hmm,
and we talked about, because I had included him in that email that I sent to Rob
okay,
on Senate Bill 357.
yeah, right, yeah,
The COVID money.
yeah.
He said, are you all right with using population district, the population?
Yeah.
I said, Jim, it's not gonna,
Yeah,
one way, we don't care, just give us the money.
yeah, right.
We're not going to, and it's enough money that we're not going to,
Yeah.
I don't see it's worth fighting
Yeah,
about, or
right,
debating about. The difference, and I told him, I said, the way I figured out what total would come to Henry County, which is over 1.6 million, would be, countywide, that includes the city employees, estimated around 383,000.
Yeah.
Ours would be 827.
Okay,
It's a pretty good chunk of money. And, even Deschler would get another $75,000. And that does not include what came in that $175 million that was yesterday.
Yeah, right.
We had two and a quarter.
yeah,
So, that's Jim. Who's gonna be being able to spend it?
yeah,
For.
yeah.
I
The time.
didn't get a start, so I just left everything in there.
Just give us some money.
That's barely.
I think the biggest
What we
issue-
talked about is the redistribution.
Yeah,
And I said, whatever's not used by county entities really should go
Tuesday.
back to
I'm here
to
on
the
Saturday.
California.
California,
And
yeah.
the county had an
Do
opportunity
you guys want
to
something
use
for
it.
your
yeah, or extend the time out so we can,
They can't.
They can't.
That takes Congress.
that guy,
There's
yeah.
some big.
That's a tough one, that's a tough one. Of course, kind of handle that money out there, knows we're gonna get a batch of it back. You know?
Yeah, and they upped it,
There's 3 seats.
on the second redistribution, they upped it to 50%
Mhm.
instead of 25%. So
Yeah.
that's better. That was,
Right, right.
okay, it is it time? Yep. I do have 9:30, we got Tracy Bush here to talk to us about a project.
Yes, one of the projects that we're gonna have to bid out using CARES funds will be the renovation of the pizza shop area, which is currently our storage area for our EMA supplies and health department supplies. As you know, we got a racking system going in, we're gonna be getting a tow loader, and we're gonna move all that stuff out, and the stuff that we're not going to keep, we're gonna either send to scrap or give away, you know, the extra hospital beds and stuff like that, that I got years and years and years ago. So, we wanna get the pizza shop area down there renovated, and gutted and stripped and ready to go. Well, we thought vaccines would be coming out late December and early January, and it's maybe earlier. So, to get this everything done, we have asked 2 local companies to give us, what they thought was proposals, you know, where they thought as cost estimates. And the Ohio Revised Code says that we have to bid it. So I submitted to you guys a bid proposal, for you to review. And if you approve it, then we just have to pick, you know, dates to get it put in the newspaper, and bid opening dates, and go from there. And, oh, by the way, the prosecutor's office had reviewed it.
Okay,
And said it-
good.
And said it wasn't allowed to come to you guys now, so.
Well, that's kind of been our plan, hasn't it? I mean, it's, we've been talking.
And in the discussion, and this is where Anna was, basically, we're looking to try and get it published on Saturday's paper, the 5th and 12th. Is that a true statement?
Yeah.
And then we were recommending a bid opening on the 22nd.
Okay.
But I can't tell the time on it. You gotta tell me the time on the 22nd, and then you also gotta tell me a time that you're no longer gonna accept bids.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you have until the bid opening to submit.
Okay, so what time would you like?
Why don't we make it, publish it as 9:30
Okay,
on the
22nd?
The 22nd, yeah.
All right, I'll change this up.
We open and read aloud.
And do I have permission to change it to, Anna? Right now it's written as Christie.
Since we're putting all our COVID projects through Anna, yeah.
In other words, on the front page, I'll change that to Anna from Christie. Hey, gotta keep it right.
Yeah.
And
The only time my name will be on the front paper.
Yeah, you don't want it in the court.
I know.
That's right.
Yeah.
A couple pages in.
anyhow, the other thing that we also had talked about is what date do you want to set as the last date where allow people to come in and walk through it? Normally,
We can actually, I would set 2 viewing dates, my thought. So one day, the week of the 14th, and say, the second time on the 21st.
so you want me to,
It could, if it's going out,
it's going out on the 5th and the 12th.
how about the 9th and the 16th?
All right, 9th to 16th.
And then you can specify.
Yep.
A couple hours.
Yep.
The times.
Anything else that we want to put in on our?
No, that should do it.
Yeah. That that was all I had.
Yeah, this is also a design build project, which contractor will be responsible for getting the drawings done and signed off by.
Yep. All right, any other questions, discussions, or whatever? Thank you, I will get out the changes, I'll send them over to you in just a few minutes.
Okay.
And, they don't have to, the dates and all that, now that, doesn't have to go back to the, prosecutor, right? Just now that you guys seen it, have him second everything to verify, and then we'll send it to Anna, and then the front page gets sent to the publishers, or not publishers, but the newspapers, or whatever, however we publish.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you need to, then check with Christie to see how you do that. I'm not sure.
But the front page is what you need, and that's what we already got pretty well done. All right, thank you.
All right, wonderful. Thanks, Yuri.
Thank you.
Good to see you again, Nick. Thanks for coming in. That's a long, I know. Yeah, it just seemed like 40 minutes ago. Yeah. Questions, Todd?
Yeah, where's that work meeting?
Down here in the corner.
Okay.
What it's referred to, a pizza shop that used to be east of Chicago Pizza, years and years ago. In fact, when you're standing in the parking lot, look over there in that corner, you can still see some of the signage. Yeah.
So what are they doing? I mean, they're gonna put in like a storage area for?
They just went in, with the existing walls and stuff. They have, right now they have, this century civil defense stuff stored in there. It's pretty ready. So what this will do is basically go in and tear everything out and create a big open space. Restrooms that are in compliance and, drywall walls, freshen up the floor, and have a space and put no-touch handicap accessible doors into the area. The intent is to use it initially for vaccination clinic. It's for the health department, because the way it's designed, there's multiple sets of doors there, and you can have ingress and egress. We can't guarantee, we don't know, given when the vaccine becomes readily available for Henry County, we don't know if we have access to, a gymnasium, or if the school districts will let us in, or if we just don't want people in, we don't know. And we believe this is one of the things that qualifies for
There's money.
for the COVID money. Yep.
Okay. Now, is that right next to his office?
Is that what?
Right next to his office, or where?
To Tracy?
Yeah.
No, it's you go past the health department.
Okay. Where's his office?
Just right next door to us.
Christie's right here.
Okay.
Yeah, behind her wall, behind this wall. That's the Emergency Operations Center. So he has an office there, and Nick is, the guy that was sitting here, Nick Knight is the deputy director, and he has an office in there. Also, our IT administrator has an office back there.
So you got an estimate on this, what this technology?
It will be a surprise,
Yeah.
because it's really a tight finish date.
And that's gonna be the biggest issue.
Yeah. That's gonna be the biggest issue.
We're gonna have it done by the end of the year or something.
My guess was, it's gonna be probably over 300,000.
Okay.
And it will also be a prevailing wage project. So with the bid, some of these contractors, there's not a lot of public work jobs going on. There's some.
Yeah.
The contractors right now are hungry and looking for projects that's gonna take them through, when they go to a skeleton crew in the winter, keeping their skeleton crew busy. So we may even have contractors from all over bid on this. So it may,
Might not be too bad, cost-wise, huh?
yeah. But, that will be a facility that will have space available. So as things within the county changes, or say, for example, a blood drive. We've kind of had to change how things happen within our buildings, and it's been difficult to accommodate the Red Cross for a blood drive. There would be an area that we could hold blood drive in.
So that's empty now? It's just like,
It's full of
Stuff.
excess supplies for the health department and for emergency management agency. Mhm. And all that's there will move to the Buckeye building. We have warehouse grade storage racks that are going in that will store this stuff for us. And then a forklift to be able to move it around or get it on the racks, as well as things come in. Since we do have loading docks and ground level door, we can easily take shipments for the health department and just put them on the rack. And then they can access them as they need.
I have a project to ask you guys about. Is there something going in, I live in Florida, and I saw that the store's been for sale forever. And I wish that store was open, because it's like 500 feet from where I live.
There you go.
But it's not, but somebody bought it, and pressure washed it and everything. Do you guys know if there's something on it there?
I
I looked on the website, some guy that bought it, owns Clubhouse, and,
That's what I heard.
yeah.
Yeah, they're putting that in there.
Then they all over there.
Yeah, that sure would be great for the village.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really would. No, I haven't heard.
I haven't heard it, but who'd you hear? Somebody from Clubhouse Pizza?
Clubhouse Pizza shared it.
Waco. It's
The Holgate store or
Yeah.
branch shared that they bought that, and the secret was out that they're
Huh.
that in there.
Oh, they have the franchise owner here,
Yeah.
or the franchisee here, or in
In
Holgate.
Holgate,
In Holgate.
yeah.
Huh.
Well, yeah. There's lots of times when I ride bicycle on my way back,
Yeah.
that was about the halfway point on the way back, so it stopped and
Yeah.
have a soda or something, and it was disappointing to see it close.
They posted it on their Facebook site, August 17th.
Okay.
They will have a Florida location.
Hmm.
They're looking for help.
There you go,
There you go,
If I keep track of my hours, I might go.
Yeah, 500 feet.
Sorry?
Okay, the next item on our agenda is 10 o'clock. Bill Meyer is coming in,
Okay. Okay.
and then we've got Kevin at 10:30. Did you see, Todd, where Jim Hoops was appointed to the House Select Committee
No, I didn't see that.
to oversee the hearing for House Bill 6?
Oh, did he? Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, they probably issued something like that, something.
Yeah, I was the director of the County Commissioners Association, sent me an email early yesterday. And I thought that was that's for Jim, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I wish we got that, we got that in there.
And the former Speaker of the House was there for session on Tuesday,
The former speaker.
householder.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's still a representative.
Right,
Yeah, and he will be until he's convicted.
yeah.
Is anybody running against him?
I don't know.
I thought he was on, I could be wrong, but I thought I read that like, he's on the ballot and there's, I'm not sure the other party had somebody up against him yet or not.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, you bet.
The person that has the right to vote it. as a write-in or him.
Yeah, she ran against him
The last time.
last time.
So she's run a few times.
But she
Yeah.
got 28% of the vote, and she was on the ballot, and after like, not on the ballot.
Yeah.
Is this fun for you or what?
Yes. Some people thrive on that.
I wanted the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're planning on running, there's,
And it's,
and it's not like she hasn't done this before.
Yeah.
Why didn't she try to get on the ballot? I think that's,
well,
Costs too much money.
Rita's a point even more. She ran last year for Raintree School Board and finished third out of 4 candidates for 1 seat, the expired term.
Okay.
And she's a write-in too. It's like,
That's a tough way to go.
Yeah, yeah.
it's a tough way to go for a Republican.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
In
yeah.
that district,
In that instance,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that,
Unless there's something that the current office holder's really messed up, then,
I don't think he's done, I mean, he's got, he could have some people upset with it.
Yeah.
On the COVID thing, but,
so who isn't?
yeah.
so the first time I had to rerun for this office, it came to the end of, the time for people to get their name on the ballot, and nobody got their name on, so I said, well, I guess I'm in. Well, they told me at the Board of Elections, no, there's always, you gotta wait till after the write-ins are in. And then they go, but a write-in, they went like this, but a write-in. So, it's not much of a threat, when you,
Well, they got, in Williams County, they have the sheriff race there, and that's what happened. And the guy that's running against the guy that got appointed sheriff was with the, sheriff's office for like 30 years. He's
Oh, yeah.
got his support, but it's gonna be interesting to see how close people.
yeah.
so Glenn, you said Jim's on the committee for the repealing of House Bill 6.
Yeah, he's chairing it,
And he voted for House Bill 6
probably.
back when it was a few years ago.
Well,
Maybe that's why they didn't send out a press release. How about that?
But I think maybe he may have changed his tune.
well, here, bottom line, House Bill 6.
A lot of people have.
Yeah. House Bill 6, really all in all, it's gonna cost people money, everything costs money. But what you gotta remember, and I don't think the government should help out private industry, but if we want electricity, we gotta have baseload electricity. And they've shut down a lot of our coal-fired power plants. We've gotta have baseload electricity, and that nuclear is about as baseload as you can get. I mean, that's 24/7. And wind, sun, and all the other stuff you can invent is dependent on something else. Baseload electricity is coal, nuclear, gas, and then they replaced a lot of gas. So House Bill 6 in and of itself wasn't all that bad. It's gonna cost money, but if you want electricity, you gotta pay for it. That's bottom
There were
line.
good points to it.
Yeah,
But now
yeah.
there's no good points to it because.
Yeah.
Well,
No, no, everybody, yeah.
See,
yeah.
Bob, I'm not gonna disagree with you on that, but you have the hardship of how much it's gonna cost, but now we know on the back end, they were spending $60 million for influence, so if you got $60 million in influence, it's hard to say that it's gonna cost us $2 million,
Yeah.
$3 million or whatever,
Yeah.
that they're gonna lose.
Right.
Apparently I could find right now, just a quick glance of where you could get a little extra money.
Yeah.
Stop spending it on influencing people.
Yeah, right. And that's probably what this subcommittee's, is gonna have to look at, all the angles of that, and come up with something that works.
The Ottawa County Commissioners really,
They
spent a lot of time,
Yeah.
lobbying for
Well,
that.
there was a lot of good paying jobs there that
Oh, yeah.
they were gonna lose in their county, and that's tough too,
Yep, that and what was the other one, Perry, over by Cleveland.
Yeah.
The representative, well, the two representatives sponsored it, one from out of the
Yeah.
area, from out of the county area.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You can't blame them. I mean, if
No,
there was,
no.
you know, Campbell's or something.
Right,
They would
yeah.
be advocating for some.
We'd fight,
Whatever.
yeah, we'd fight hard too,
Well,
you
we
know.
would be, yeah, we would. There was Mark Stahl asked me, if I'd write a letter of support, which I did.
Yeah,
Because they were concerned in what to do. Like you said, some very good high-paying jobs.
yeah,
A lot of them.
right.
And,
Yeah, that's, you don't wanna lose that out of your county, I can't blame them.
You guys have a new secretary?
Christie's out ill. That's Anna Marshall. Anna's our administrative assistant. She sits at the window.
She coming back soon, or?
Christie?
Just not feeling well.
Yeah, you've been under the weather for a while.
Yeah. I was looking for, see if they even had ballot information in Perry County. Their websites. Oh, well.
How's the crops looking over here, my wife?
Corn isn't gonna be fantastic, my corn's gonna be a lot better than it was last year, because I didn't get any in. I think corn's not gonna be as good as, you know, the potential, because it was too hot and dry for too long. But, soybeans, I think will probably be about the same as last year. They're looking good, and this last couple of rains there, we got that really, for 90% of them, it still helped them to fill them out, so. And previous to that, we had gotten that one rain there, and that really put on the pods then, and then these two rains should have finished them out pretty well, so. I know that, I helped Kurtz's with the tomatoes, and they said after that one rain the other night, he said the tonnage went up until the next day, as soon as they started harvesting, they noticed the tonnage went up, so.
Tomatoes got a lot of water in them.
Yeah. So I think the soybeans will probably be like last year, maybe a little better. But,
Things got off to a good start compared
yeah,
to last
yeah. You know, we come off, everything came up and looked so beautiful there for a while, and man, we were all excited. Then that dry weather hit, and the dry weather would have been one thing, is that incessant heat, you know, that's what really hurt the crops, but.
Was it a hot day when you guys got married? Yeah.
That was Labor Day, I think.
have anything else for the good of the cause?
Not really, no. Don't really know anything.
Jeff?
No, sir, nothing I can think of.
I don't either, so at this point, wait on Bill to get here.
I guess, of course, the one thing is we saw in that budget adjustment there that he got money in for the TCAP money, so it must not have discontinued that yet. But I do know that if things change, the judge wants to use some of that, so.
Well, I can tell you a few things, if you want to know.
Yeah.
We will be dispersing the second round of CARES money today.
Okay.
We received it last Friday, the full amount, which was half of what we received the first time, so we will receive, the county will receive their portion, and I've been updating you guys on the spreadsheet and all that, so you'll see that updated later today or tomorrow, that we have an additional $220,000 to go that we gotta spend. And then I shared with the news about the next round of money. They got the Senate bills and all that's being worked through. The difference for that money is that it's gonna go out by population, not by local government, fund distribution. So, at this point, I have not heard or I have no guess on how much Henry County will get or will receive of that portion. So that's just a wait and see mode on that.
My estimate was based on simply taking just rounding numbers, 28,000 people divided by 11 million in the state of Ohio gives us about 1.6. I did receive an estimate yesterday, and that will give us around 800, and just the commissioners, 832,000, something like that.
So the county would probably get about half of that still then?
Yeah, like 1.6 million will be coming to Henry County.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, hopefully. Hopefully you're a little low.
Yeah, by using population, the smaller counties usually come out a little bit ahead of the larger counties, and there was some pushback from some of the larger counties about that. It didn't phase the Senate, so they went ahead and passed it. They knew the urgency of just getting it out there. Because none of the dates, as far as when the money has to be spent, have been changed, simply because the feds have to change the federal, Congress has to change the dates.
Yeah, but I have heard talk that there's some possibility about moving some of those dates back. So instead of having the money encumbered by October 15th, it may get pushed back till surprise after the election. So, and then, but they're still looking at the end of December for the money to be, either you spend it or not, but that even could be pushed back until into 2021.
Yeah. So, but it takes Congress to do that.
Yeah.
The state of Ohio can't. Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes about. I mean, it's what we've learned. Information comes out about every day.
Yeah,
It changes, so.
and it changes about every day, yeah.
And then the redistribution pattern also changed. The percentages for this latest, or the yet to be passed round of money, there will be more money that comes back to the county. That, I don't know if I haven't talked to Rob yet, but I had emailed him earlier in the week and suggested that if they look at anything, they look at the redistribution.
So we, the way I read it, and the way I'm handling it is those that ask for money will get the next portion. So like I said, we're releasing out all the money today. So any township that got the 8,000s are going to get the 4,000. The county, you don't have to ask for it again. You've already passed the resolution.
Right.
So I had the village,
You can sit up here.
I had the village tell me they didn't want the money.
Yeah,
And I said, no, this is gonna be all or nothing.
yeah,
The village clerk is also a clerk for the village in Wood County,
yes.
and they're doing it different.
Where's the social distance?
They're allowing them to.
okay, we stay back here?
No, you can sit
Yeah.
there, you both can't be up.
Oh, I see, okay,
Oh,
all
my.
right,
Everybody's doing it. Well,
all right.
Bill.
Good morning, Bill.
Hey, good morning. Good
What are you
morning.
doing this morning, sir? You here?
I called this get-together to give you an update on our progress on the project. And Eli, the project manager, was here the other day, and we had to have a progress meeting and get some things charted out with him, which he got all the information from us the other day when we were going to meet. So I can go through some of that with you, as well as I brought some parts along so you can take a look at them and give you some idea of what the repairs are needing to be. And I have Andrew Brock, and Andrew is with Poggemeyer, and he is the fellow who took care of all the scanning of not only the lady, but we went the next step and we scanned the inside of the courthouse bell tower so that we have all the accurate information on that.
Cool.
We'd like to do the outside of it too. Those are things that we hadn't really talked about, but I think it's going to be really helpful if there ever was a devastating windstorm to be able to have the information that these can provide would be invaluable to being able to manufacture new pieces if there was a need for that someday. And to just give you some idea, this thing operates from 4 points, and you just set up a unit with the transit, and it levels and takes care of all the processes, and it measures about 4 billion measurements on each one of the 4 corners. And it creates something that's 3D and it's virtual, and you'll be able to see it here in just a minute. So if you'd like to see what he's produced so far, he has a computer, and we also have some pictures of the progress on the lady. So however you'd like to proceed with this, I realize we have the social distancing thing, so we only have so big a computer screen, so you may have to come around and actually take a look at it where the light provides a little bit clearer picture. So however you want to arrange that, we're fine with that.
So we can put it up there, is that what rain's coming? Okay.
We don't know, IT guy, we can put it up there, that'd be good.
Yeah, I have an HDMI port on the computer, so.
No, we can do it in that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, so while that's all being taken care of technically, I think that Andrew has a few things that he'd like to say about the Lady of Justice and her structure and what we're finding. So,
Okay.
you know, we have to work collectively to make decisions about the process of if she's able to be saved, if you know there isn't too much damage. We've gotten to the point now where we've gone through multiple phases of, you know, getting her down off the pedestal. We saw her come down on, taking a crane, lifting her down, starting to handle her and seeing exactly how fragile she is as we take off all the braces and attachments that they had that were added to her over the years to keep her up there, which were all external, and every one of them trapped water and created more rust and more issues, including the repair they did on the arm in 13. So those are the things that we were really concerned about, and the general condition of her skin. So we found that she's becoming more brittle, and the skin is very soft, and you have to be extremely careful while you're doing this work. And but it's really good that we have the initial scan of her, but she's so crushed and so twisted that the scan that we have now is not truly what she's supposed to be, you know. She's now taking shape, you know, as we work on her and start to open her back up, and all those folds and crush marks are starting to work out of her. It's kind of like going to the chiropractor and you've got to decide which spot you want to start on first. So,
and if you change one, you're going to change the other one the other way again.
yeah. And so it's really important to have that model, you know, so we'll have to scan her again. And we're not sure exactly when that'll be ready, but there's quite a bit of work involved in the process. So
yep, I'm sure there is.
Yeah, just to even be able to get the model, if you wanted to create a new one, she has to be stretched and pushed and stabilized.
You still have to do the same thing, so you have an accurate model.
Yeah.
You need to read it.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to create the new one with all that damage, because she really is, she was really crumpled over, and it was kind of hard to tell, because we had made some adjustments in '97 to be able to take about 4 inches of her swagger out. That's 4 inches at the bottom of that 15-foot post, so you can imagine how much that was to get her so she was plumb again. And so visually we had it, but physically she was crumpled over that much, which would probably be about 18 inches if you wanted to actually figure out what took place on her body. And that's why her feet were removed, because she had crumpled over and sunk down into the base. So anyhow, thank you, Ron. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was, you could see, you know, when you got her down on the ground, you could see at least those where it had some supports had been put on the outside in the back of her, but you could see where she was crumpling. And it was,
absolutely, and then somebody did a repair on her, and they cut a hole in her back, and when they opened that hole up, they cut a hole in the main support spine, which is a pipe, to get in there to put some bolts and things in, because they didn't have self-tapping screws and other things. It was just a light sheet metal shaft inside. So that's what really precipitated all the crushing, you know, that took place. And then the arm, of course, was rebuilt and reinforced in such a way that it left a lot of blemishes. So go ahead, Andrew, if you got something ready to roll.
Yep, my name is Andrew Brock. I'm a structural engineer at Poggemeyer Design Group. I specialize in structural engineering for industrial and commercial applications, and I also am real big on 3D scanning. So we have a Trimble TX7 laser scanner that shoots, like you said, millions of points out. Produces a scan that looks something like this. This is about 4 million points, and you're able to essentially get a complete 3D picture of anything you'd like. And in this case, it's Lady Justice that's on top of the courthouse. The nice thing is that this will memorialize her measurements at a point in time, so you're able to take, for example, any measurement here and find out what the diameter or any instance at all. So the closer you zoom in, you can see each individual point, and then if you zoom out, obviously, it's like looking at one of those crazy pictures. With many pictures, you get a clear picture of what you're looking at. But the advantage to this is that you have an infinite amount of measurements, so you can measure anything you'd like at any point in time in the future. We scanned her before they started working on her so that we could ensure we have a record of what she was when she was removed from the courthouse. And then after we finish completing and renovating her, we'll scan it again so that you guys have a record as well. The nice thing is this viewer, Recap, and this 3D scan is a free software that anyone can download to get access, so anyone can look at the scans and anyone can take measurements of the scans as well. We did the lady here, and you can see it's very accurate. The only missing points are ones where I couldn't have a straight shot, like with a transit, to look at her. But for reference, this entire 3D scan took about 12 minutes. So very quick, very accurate up to 1 millimeter. The second scan we did is the courthouse itself, and just for reference, so you guys could see the kind of the power of this device and what Bill has had us doing. This is the courthouse bell tower. This is looking from the inside, but if you were to zoom in here on the inside, you can see the entire level as if you were standing there in real life, able to take any measurements you'd like. And you can also go up to the next level, and you can see the bell and everything in there, colorized, measured, everything is a complete record. And you can go up to the next level as well. The scan with this, basically carry it up all the ladder and scan for 4 minutes, and then the computer stitches it together, and it's smart enough to know where it was versus where it started.
People want to know what did we go up there. Here's a way for people to see what's
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
This same device, we've talked about this maybe 3 years ago. Justin Vogel won one of these units for accident recreation.
The Trimble TX7 unit that we have, we've been trying to get a hold of it for 3 months because all the police departments in the United States are buying them for accident reconstruction because the scan time's only 3 to 4 minutes, and you've got a complete 3D view of everything you can see.
Because we would like to have that all the way down through all our buildings, so we have an accurate.
The really interesting thing is that you can actually link this into maintenance procedures. Every cable, every line, every steam fitting, everything that you've got can all be looked at, and then you can actually put in maintenance procedures at certain dates, so people know exactly what you're supposed to be doing on your standardized maintenance.
And because this would give us an as-built of the courthouse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which we don't have.
Oh, yeah.
That's our application.
Is it?
For as-built of existing facilities. For example, this facility, you would come in here with 2 architectural technicians and spend 4 or 5 days measuring each room, window locations. You still would never, no matter how long you work, you could never get all of the information that you can see physically when you're here. So we do a lot of as-built facilities that will scan, set up 2 minutes per room, and link all the scans together, and then provide a floor plan that matches what's there. But the nice thing is the customer can also have the scan and they can go to a specific room, and you can even look up and say, oh, there's 6 lights in the row, or this is 4x4 ceiling tile or something, so it's very powerful.
Yeah, exactly, and you're talking about the very thing that we talked about. It was just oh shoot, my mind just went blank. Okay.
Yeah,
It's the same thing you and I have going on.
Yeah, no kidding. God, right in the middle of the sun. All over.
Can you layer this into, or have it become part of a layer in AutoCAD?
Yes, you can use AutoCAD 3D or Revit. So in this example, I have a Revit file that has this scan of the tower combined with the Lady Justice on top, combined with the work platform that's currently sitting up there that I designed out of steel. So we can combine all of them together. That's mainly what we use it for industrial structures, is to take new equipment, piece it into the existing facility, and make sure everything fits before you have to physically bring it in there and realize it doesn't fit.
Since that structure up there is about the size of the boxing ring. Top of my head.
Oh, yeah, you bet. Saturday Night Live.
Something unique, where your social distance will.
Absolutely. By the way, we have probably 80 photographs that are standard photographs that were done in '97 of before, during, and after the restoration. I don't know that we have time right now for you guys to look at all those, but I would like to bring them in and present them to you. I'd like the photographs back. If you want to copy them, you can do that, but I'd like the photographs back. Now, I have them in a chronological order of when we began and then through the project. I can bring those in when we get done with the meeting, and if you'd like to use them for a few days, but you'll be able to see the condition of the lady as we're working on her, removing the lead, and the structures that we built around her. The steeplejacks in the past have climbed on her, and that's part of the problem. Like so many of the ledges, they walked around on the ledges when they painted and things, and became concave instead of convex and draining off. So you know, a lot of the issues were because of the wear and tear, because of people actually working on her. And you can see where knees were on her back and bent her back, her shoulders in, and all that sort of thing. So this is the latest.
There's the stovepipe essentially that was her spine. It's very corroded, and obviously you can see it's in pretty bad shape. I think the zinc that's on her has gone through about 4 different periods of electrolysis where it's losing all of its zinc electrons and sacrificing them to something else. So now the zinc is in fairly good shape because it doesn't have any more electrons to lose to other metals, but obviously the stovepipe has gone through it. So my recommendation is to replace the stovepipe. Obviously there's something a lot more rigid. We're thinking maybe a 2 to 3 inch stainless steel pipe that obviously won't corrode within the next 100 years and won't take any electrons away from the zinc as well. And you can see all of the different holes that are in here from who knows what.
Yeah. Miss shooting bolts on
Yeah.
pigeon.
Yeah, some shots, and then some of the tougher spots are around the top of her hood and the robe because of the zinc, and you can see it's fractured in many locations from the 100-something years of swaying back and forth in the wind and expanding and contracting. There, you get good view of some of the cracks and bullet holes there.
I like those cracks. How will those be repaired, Bill?
We've been forming new metal. We have sheets of the zinc that is new zinc that's of the same thickness. It's about 30 thousandths.
Right about there, around where my mouse is, you can see a piece of stainless that was put in there, just to hold her rigid on the gap between her body and her robe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there was nothing left there.
Yeah.
It was just all caulking. See, that's been the real kicker, is to find all this goop that was put into her through all the different paint jobs that they didn't really take out when they removed the paint. They just left a lot of that filler because everything would have fallen apart. They just, and you can see it in the photographs that I'm going to give you. It's just, you look at it and you go, that looks like lace. And that's what we were most concerned about. You know.
This is also another concerning location. This to the left, to your right, is her arm that was holding the scale. That's a cantilevered piece of zinc, and you could see it was tearing down her body. So it probably didn't have much longer until it will completely tear the arm off, and it would have been hanging at her side.
When you were up there, Bill, and you shook her, you should have heard people.
Yeah, well, I shook her to make sure nothing was going to fall off. That was my biggest concern, was, once we launch her, there's no bringing her back. So
there's various repairs that were done with different metals, with different nobilities, which is causing some of the issue. Here's a repair with copper onto zinc. Zinc is a lot less noble than copper, so it just starts corroding the zinc as the copper steals the electrons from the zinc. What probably had good intentions at one time is causing corrosion because it's accelerating the zinc's electrolysis. Here's her face.
It's got damage on her nose.
Yeah. Well, I actually have that right here. So I thought maybe you'd be interested in seeing her firsthand. And we've done multiple removal processes, gently taking all this goop off her. And so here she is. So, if you choose to...
Can I borrow that for Halloween?
Yeah, we just.
You gotta take a picture.
That's pretty cool, Bill. It's just, it's exciting to see.
So just, if you would, pass her around and just take a look at all the fractures and how soft this zinc is and how amazingly fragile she is, and it could still be up there. It's just really amazing, she just did shred apart.
Yeah.
Because the winds get extreme.
Yeah, that's amazing that that thing's still in good shape as
Oh, yeah.
Never thought it'd be
Who never-
there.
who never-
Look at her right eye.
That's
Would you
great.
like your picture with her, Anna?
Yeah, actually, that'd be great.
There you go. That's cool. Actually, there's a couple things there, you know.
Yeah, that looks like about a 22.
Yeah, right there, boy, there's a lot of.
And we added the vent on her crown there in '97 because she was sweating inside.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
you know, there was no way for the air to really escape other than through holes which were being created by rust.
Created,
Mhm.
yeah.
Kind of the same situation as the steps.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly, just trapped stale air and moisture, and just working at it from both sides.
Wow, I expected it to be heavier and thicker.
Oh, isn't that amazing? It's only 30,000th material.
Yeah.
But they did that because they needed to do that complex hammering on her to shape her.
Turn around, so you can really see in the, like right there,
Yeah.
you can really see, the issues that's.
Oh, yeah.
Separating.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's, then look at there, right underneath there. There's a spot there.
Yeah, if you take a picture to the inside, through the neck, you can see all the light coming through.
Oh, yeah.
So that gives you some idea of how lacy she is, and of course, her head is the best condition of anything
Yeah.
on her entire structure.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah, who'd ever thought it's that light,
Yeah,
that
right.
light of material.
Right, no kidding. That's amazing. Wow. Amazing.
Ryan and Tom.
Yeah.
He was on late sheet. It had
Yeah,
that
yeah.
light.
So in there was no reinforcements inside, just
there's a stovepipe that extended down through her body that actually goes up through her neck and goes right into her crown.
Okay.
And we detached that.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how elementary the whole thing is. So for months, we've been thinking how we would go about re-supporting her framework. So basically, this is the way we supported the inside of the courthouse bell tower. Because you had structural members, then you could use a stainless steel beam clamp with a 3/8 rod on it, with this malleable piece of metal here offset, so you can pop this in place.
Yeah.
And there's gotta be 1,500 of these things up there or more.
Yeah.
That replaced all the wood blocking and wire.
Yeah.
It was wired together because that's how they held all that sheet metal in place. Well, Andrew showed you the pictures of the flat stock material that they put bends on the ends, and that's what held her in position inside, coming from that stovepipe running up through the middle of her. And so, as that stovepipe started to deflect, so did her body, because it's all connected.
Sure.
And you can see these, so as we straighten her body, we use those bars that you see in there, touching her body and coming back to the stovepipe, as the viewing point to know that we have that area straightened.
Right.
You don't take it too far, because it stops you, but you know that you haven't also left it in too far.
Right.
It's just you can check every one of those, because she has a midpoint opening, the bottom opening, and the top opening that you can look at and see what's going on in there. So now we're
Getting
getting
it down here than there was up there.
we're using Andrew's measurements that he has, that can be transposed onto a CNC water jet table. And we're using 3/4 inch plywood and cutting the shapes that you see, like the bottom shape. Once we take that metal off, that little flat piece of metal, that's what was holding it down. And, so, we'll fasten that in both ends, top and bottom, and put a shaft through her, and then we can turn her. And we have a table that actually raises electrically, so we don't have to continually try to lift her and move her and block her and so forth. She'll just be on a rotisserie, and we can work on her like that. So those pieces are going to be cut tonight. That's the next step. And so then these go in on a framework that comes off, the templates that will take off the plywood. And we'll have everything marked to have clips, and we'll have pieces of angle iron going up through her to be her support. And then these kind of things will go on. And when she's cut in half, these will all be added and be able to hold the whole thing rigid like she's never been rigid before. And this still is malleable enough that, she can move slightly, because we need the skin to still not be too rigid. So, anyhow,
there's a lot of wind up there.
it's gonna take some time to put all this together. And, so you can see all these, where this piece was more than one actual piece of metal. Most of what you see on that body is all out of a sheet. And it comes together in the waving part of the body's gown, where you see those real intense creases, like he's showing us here right now. That's where the folds actually come in, and they're soldered in there. And so you can see soldered joints in here in certain spots, but all this has to be built up. And so we'll get a repair schedule together and show you what it's going to take. And Andrew's working with us on all the materials to make sure that everything right down to the type of pop rivet that we're using and all the details of the metal, special orders have gone in for the material here. So sorry, I'm going to have to shut this thing off. Just one of those moments. But anyhow, those are the processes that we're going through, and we think that in the next couple of weeks we'll be able to come back in and do another presentation and let you know where things are with the repairs. In the meantime, Andrew and I are working on attachments around the top on that area that you see up there, that's our work platform, that are going to come down and attach in the lower area by the windows. There'll be 4 posts that actually go up and help support that whole thing, and then we can start more of the rigging and that sort of thing. But I'm going to start washing this weekend of the top. There won't be as many people around in town, and so I'll start washing the top of the steeple and getting the dormer roofs coated and starting to make some of the repairs on some of the other ornate pieces up there, and getting some scans on those so we can get some of that material remade. And so the process is, most of our focus for the last week has been getting everything ready on the ground so the safety of the public is complete. And we'll have signs put up on the west side entrance so that nobody can miss it. It's like 6-inch red lettering, courthouse entrance and handicapped entrance. So there'll probably still be some people wondering where it is, but it's going to be really tough to miss it. And so that's going in. And I'd like to ask your permission to do one other thing. I haven't ordered them yet, but on the front of the bar that's way up there, I'd like to put on, if this suits you, celebrating the 200th anniversary of Henry County in 6-inch bright letters on that white framing. Would that be okay?
I don't have a problem with it. That works.
All right.
I think we've got consensus here.
Okay. I think so. All right. Well, I'll get those made up, and we'll get those on next week. And
we had a lot of compliments, Bill, with having the flags up there. It's just, people have thought that was was really nice. And I I said, I told her, I said, the next time I would see Bill, I'm gonna let him know.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that,
Thank you for that idea.
Yeah,
That was
good idea.
a very good idea.
Well, it would be pretty stark to not have something up there.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's just
Yeah.
really, you know, all of us have looked at it since we were kids.
Yeah.
To not have something up there.
It's amazing when you drive into town, the first thing your eyes go up to that, and I didn't think it did, but it does. And I look at it barely every time I drive
We
into
haven't
town.
told Christie yet that you're going to use that flag for quite a while. Well, when she gets back to work, we'll let her know that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, yeah, and hopefully we get some more made. I heard that,
Yeah.
there might be some avenue to get some ordered, so I was gonna order a few, one to replace that one. And, 'cause no doubt it will be a little tattered when it's all over. There aren't many days it's just laying down, the air's always moving up there.
There's always air there.
We, Christie found where
We ordered.
that one that you have up there is the last of the ones that we had.
Oh, I see.
And, she found a place where they've been ordered. We're gonna check locally to see if we can do anything locally.
Uh-huh, okay,
And get them done.
yeah. Well, count me in for a couple of them, and one to replace the one that we got up there, and then one for myself, so. As far as other details, you know, if we can set up a meeting in a couple of weeks, and I think that as far as, purchase order numbers, the other details of the, bond and, you know, all that is all being, worked up right now, so I think we're trying to stay up with all those things. Have you heard any comments about the ramps that we have, the entry ramps, either into the employee side or the public side?
Kevin, Bill was asking, if we heard any comments or such from anyone that's using the entryways, the tunnel, and
No, I mean, I talked to Ellen, and Ellen's not having any issues. It's fine. I mean, I can't speak for Judge Collier, that may still be an issue, but that's part of just the slope issue that you're not gonna be able to fix anyway. So he would be my main concern.
He has a hard time going downhill, like all of us.
Yeah.
I guess we shouldn't laugh about that, but it all happens for us whenever we're not quite expecting it. And I talked to him numerous times about how he'd like to approach this. And honestly, I think that, you know, it would be better for him to park on the west side of the building and come in that way, but it's really his call as to how he wants to do it. We'll do whatever we can to make it better, easier for him.
I suggest that they put speakers in the tunnel and play It's a Small World on a constant loop, so people will be happy to come in and leave.
Yeah.
So that could be arranged.
Yeah.
Didn't you put a work order in with it?
Yeah. Well, we know that in the next couple of weeks, it's gonna start getting darker, you know, earlier, and so, and be dark in the mornings as we go into October. So we have some LED lighting that we're gonna put in those. There'll be 4 LED lights, dual bulb fixtures to brighten it up in there so nobody stumbles. And, so hopefully, it works out well the way it's going right now. And, I think that's it for me. Andrew, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's it.
Okay.
And it's been a real pleasure working with Andrew and Phil Whaley, and they've been Johnny on the spot for everything we needed help on to get this thing launched immediately while the weather's still good. And in the month of September, we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff up there because it's the month to get the coatings done when the wind's still low. So, we'll just be...
It's pretty dicey, beginning in October.
It does, a lot of uncertainty then, and I'm gonna be working a lot more in a later shift where you'll see us up there with lights on sometimes when the wind's not up and it's dry. So, you know, it'll be some long hours later in the day so that we can miss the public down below and have the parking lots clear, and I'll work with the sheriff's department on that. So, we've always gotten along well and being able to do it like that, so, it'll be a little bit of an altered schedule, but, we'll keep things slugging along, but this week was focused on her. We really needed to zero in on that, and Andrew's been with us multiple days here, working out all the details on the materials and the processes and so forth.
Once you get the paint off of her, face doesn't look too bad. It just,
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. She doesn't even have any wrinkles. So
Yeah, she doesn't age, she's aging well, really. There's a hole in her head.
had a number of people, Bill, say that, they're glad we're doing something, glad we're taking care of the courthouse.
Yep.
And then I mentioned that, you've been talking about retirement, that you came back over to work on this project.
Oh, yeah.
And we do, I really appreciate it.
Yes, we appreciate that.
Because we know your love for that building.
Yeah, well, we definitely are committed to wrapping this part of the project up, and, it's come a long ways, when Harold Roars hired me to work with Tom Gerdeman to clean out 3 feet of pigeon dung and to basically fix at least 40 leaks in the old copper roof. That was almost a constant. Every time there was a windstorm, it would raise the copper roof, and it had gotten soft and worn, and the nails would just pop out, and we'd put bigger screws and bigger screws and bigger screws in, and eventually there was no wood to put bigger screws into, and so they had to do something. But, we're in a lot better shape now than we were back in 1977, and so I would think that this structure is probably one of the better maintained facilities in the state. I've been to look at some of the others, and I've been up in the steeples of a couple of the other lookalikes that we have around the state, and they are really rough. They're at a point where they're going to have to make some decisions about even stabilizing them to keep some of what they have yet. So I'm just really happy that I've been involved with commissioners groups since '77 that have had an interest in maintaining her and all that the complex is. It's just a beautiful combination of the jail and the courthouse together, which you don't find often.
Yeah, right.
Have you been to the courthouse in Marysville?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Because it was the same architect that designed ours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these are kind of like a package building. You could just buy whatever extra embellishments, kind of like a car, a la carte, you want this feature, that feature, whatever you could afford or the townspeople wanted. So, it's an amazing structure, and that '97 restoration was quite a leap. It was quite a leap because it was run down to a point where the HVAC was really not efficient, and the wiring had been there for a long time, and so there's really been some major improvements that really make it a workable, livable kind of building now, and so kudos to you and all your predecessors for caring.
Yeah, right. Well, like Glenn says, for the most part, I don't hear any complaining. The first question, though, that you're putting her back up there, aren't you? Oh, yeah, putting her back up.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad that she just didn't crumble.
Yeah, no kidding.
Literally.
Now that we see this, now that we see what Andrew showed us here, I'm glad we got her now. That wasn't gonna last much longer, was it, up there?
Yeah, I had to corral her some different way than just putting, some kind of a restraint on her, because she would have collapsed.
Yeah.
And just couldn't take a chance on that. So, anyhow, I'll give you a progress report in a couple of weeks, and you'll see some things happening. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you for coming in. Andrew, thank you for coming in.
No problem. That's your computer?
And Andrew can supply you with this program.
Yeah, if you'd like information on downloading the program and the file, if you have an email address, I can send it to you.
Just email it to commissioners@henrycountyohio.gov. And, Anna will take care of getting it to us.
And then the 5-year and the successive 5 years to the 25-year inspection plans we're working on. That's an ongoing. As Andrew becomes more familiar with the building, and he still hasn't dropped the outside of it, we were gonna do that today, but he has a couple other things to do. We'll find a time next week for him to come in and do that. And then we'll start to analyze the weak spots where we have, ongoing maintenance issues on the exterior skin and other things that are gonna need to be looked at. And we'll get you the beginning of that outline, in the next month or so. And, so as he becomes more aware and I have more time, it just seems like there's more that becomes, it opens itself up to us as we get into it more, so. But we're definitely wanting to get those plans to you so that when other commissioner groups in the future, we work with these churches and somebody pulled one of the estimates out that I had done. When Roberta Hanna was the committee chairman, I gave him an estimate for doing some lightning protection, and it was, I think, 37 years ago, and they asked me if I would hold the price. They pulled it out of the maintenance file, and they said, well, yeah, you did give us an estimate. Oh, yeah. So that's how long it takes for, committees to catch up when they're changing
guard, and that happens here. I mean, it's part of the business.
Unfortunately, a lot of things can't wait 37 years.
Right.
So, we don't want to put the lightning protection on until she goes back up and other things are done, so we've got a temporary lightning connection to go on.
Thank you.
For the time being, so you don't have to worry about that rack up there attracting lightning.
And what's going to be, what's really important, at least important to me, is that we'll have the documentation to pass on.
Oh, yeah.
Which we're, from the renovation in 97, it's real sketchy what we've got.
I see, Well, Bob Gady's office has huge documentation on everything, and we just need to get a hold of Dale Cerny. He's still alive. I talk to him at least once a year. We're buddies. And he was the one that was like Bob's backup man, his partner, but wasn't fully in charge of that project. And Bob had archives that you just can't believe. And a lot of it was stored in a place for historic records because so much needed to get done in Cleveland and buildings there.
You need help getting her back in there?
Yeah, that would be great. And so I think Bob worked on 17 major projects on courthouses around Ohio. And ours was just one of the many that he spearheaded. He was quite a
kidding. That's quite a problem, but they're big buildings and they get a lot of work.
The detail, and of course, getting all the department heads to all agree on what office was going to be theirs and how it was going to work, and all colors, and oh my gosh, the details were galore. So anyhow, we were blessed to have him, and I think I can check. I'm going to call Dale anyhow in the next week, and I'll check and see if he has more information for you.
Because we have all kinds of sets of drawings of the different, as we're working through the process. But we really, as far as what was constructed, we really don't have any.
I see. Well, we'll work on that, and his scan would also enlighten us on some things. So I'll look into that.
Just the historic record. That would be important.
Well, it's a possibility that when he comes back to do these other scans, that we may be able to have him do the rest of the building. And, we just have to talk that over.
Probably. We had a conversation this morning about buying one of those units.
Well.
And so, it would be probably something we need to talk about. What it would cost to have our building scanned. We've with IT, we've talked, and electric, and on, and, you know, that would be, it would be good to have.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, I'm sure we can do it if that's what you like, so, but I'll check with Dale and see what he's got in the archives. And, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you, Bill.
yeah, we'll
You
take
should have the
it.
email in your commissioner's email box with the link. I just sent it.
Okay.
You have to download some software. I don't know if your IT allows you to download software, but it's a free program.
They work for us. No, once they check it out.
They'll check it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Has all the instructions and then some pictures on how to change the settings so you're not in meters, so it makes more sense.
Okay, so it's really a viewer.
It's just a viewer.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I've used those before, yeah. Okay, wonderful, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for coming in, appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Nice to meet you guys.
Kevin.
I can't top that.
No, we tough. Yeah, you have a head in the bag. Yeah, you have a head in the bag, yeah.
They should have a silver platter though. Like-
Yeah. Here's your head.
Yeah.
I wondered what he had in the bag.
I did too.
You never know.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
You pulled out.
Yeah. Pretty neat.
I don't know if it's in last.
Yeah.
You have her
You
Facebook?
see our website on and all that, yeah.
Yeah, I have a picture of her,
Before?
of before.
I don't know if they use chemicals or sandblast, I'm not sure.
Look flat.
Yeah, I don't know what sandblast.
Sandblast was usually pits the metal if you do that.
Because that's what,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's when they took her out.
Oh, yeah, okay. And the hair.
Yeah, oh, I remember, yeah.
Golden hair.
Yeah, golden hair, yeah.
That looked a lot better than what they had. You have to put it on better.
Tracy, had a lady addresses here.
Yeah, you seen what the state said about that when I asked?
Yeah, we probably had a crime scene. Bill walked in with a head in a garbage bag.
Oh, my word. Oh, my word.
All right, well, I'll just take long of your time. I just want to give you an update where the county's at.
Okay.
As for funds, I'm going to paint a pretty good story, a pretty good picture, but, you know, we're not out of the woods from COVID, so there's my disclaimer, and we still need to watch our cost of what we spent.
Right.
We've always talked about, and we've known that, you know, currently Henry County is in a pretty good position. And I remember coming to you guys about April going, we could weather the storm, but if we're still talking about this and
I remember when you said that.
September, October, it might be a different picture.
Guess what?
Well, unfortunately, we're still talking about it in September and October, but a lot of things have changed.
Right.
Back then, we didn't know that we were going to get CARES money,
Yeah.
and some relief or help is on the way there.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to talk about the general fund in a sense, and if you have any questions, let me know. I can try to answer them or make them up along the way, whatever it is you want to do. So what I did is,
Feel better?
I took 2019, where we were at the end of August, to 2020, where we're at. Okay, and when you compare those numbers, the two big numbers at the end is our revenues are up like $327,000 this year compared to last year. And there's reason for that, and I'll highlight some of the reasons. And then our expenses are down about $920,000 from last year to this year. And there's reason for that too. Some of it's just timing. Some of it is just projects that we did that we spent money on. So, you know, when I look at an overall number, and one of the numbers I look at is are we operating loss or gain at a certain point of the year? Because like in January, it's not unusual for us to be at an operating loss because we don't have revenue coming in,
Right.
and we have expenses going out.
Yeah, pretty good size
And hence, that's why you have a carryover to offset those peaks and valleys. But, so last year, at the end of August, we were at a positive 255,000. Okay, now that was probably a good spot to be at after the end of August. This year, we were at a positive 1.5 million. Now, that paints a pretty good picture. But again, some of this is timing issues. Some of it is that we did some projects last year that we obviously was one time, we're not going to do it again.
Right.
But some of it is, when I look at our expenses, for the most part, the departments have been holding true or a little bit down.
Okay.
Because there's certain things. I mean, like, and a lot of little things add up to big things. Is that, you know, any of us that goes to any type of training or conferences or stuff like that, and the expenses that goes with it, obviously nobody's going. They're not holding them. And if they do, they're virtual.
Yeah, yeah.
So those costs end down. You know, I just have some highlights, and I'm just going to throw these out here. You know, sheriff cars, we bought none this year. Last year we bought a couple or a few. So that's a timing thing. We're always going to have to buy sheriff's cars.
Yep.
So, and again, none of us knew that this was going to happen last year.
Right, right.
The coroner contracts are a little bit up this year compared to last year at this time. And I don't know a reason for that. I mean, it used to be that we were investigating drug overdoses. Is that increasing now? I don't know. I mean, Dr. Fritz could tell you that.
Yeah.
And that could be a cyclical thing, and we don't have a lot of COVID deaths to blame that on at the end of August that would do those contracts, because most of those contracts cost are the
overdose.
well, when they cut them up and they do their
Yeah.
autopsies. Yes, thank you.
But they'll leave it as well as transportation.
Transportation.
Yeah.
Again, I don't have an answer. I just seen that we are up a little bit compared to last year.
I think, the last we talked with Dr. Fritz is she's changed how she's handled some of the drug overdose.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm taking it as a positive sign. She hasn't been back to see us and asking for more money.
I would anticipate at the current rate that they're at, they might at the end of the year. Just because of the budget-wise, for contracts, and I don't want to nitpick on her department.
Yeah, right.
You know, these are truly costs that we don't have a lot of control over.
No, we have no control
with that.
No.
But I think percentage-wise compared to budget, she's at 85% for the year at the end of August.
Okay.
I mean, if that projects out, then she's going to have to spend over what we budgeted.
Yeah.
But it's not, the total amount is 23,000 that she spent, and we budgeted 27. So we're not talking huge amounts of money with that. Big item that we had last year was the Board of Elections. We paid over $200,000 for the new equipment. So when we look at how our expenses are down, there's one thing that we certainly weren't going to do there. We did give, this year though, we gave a little bit more money to the fairgrounds than we have for various reasons. Children's Services has not asked for any funds yet. Is this a timing thing? Is it a cyclical thing?
Yeah. When does she usually ask for money?
Well, at this point last year, they had $100,000.
Okay.
They've not asked for any this year. Historically, they've taken the money in December.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't answer that. I mean, talk to Shannon about that, about are they going to still have to do that, or do they see offset costs, you know, down from that? I don't know. Or additional funding. That's again, could be a timing thing. Last year we had an airport. Well, excuse me, this year we paid the airport money. We agreed on it last year, paid it this year, but we know that money's coming back. I don't know when that money's returning back.
I haven't talked to
Talk to anybody lately,
Yeah, I'm not sure where they're at on that, because we were to be reimbursed on the first draw
When they got,
of the funds.
Yeah.
We had, in 2019, we had like 81,000 going out to transportation, and I think I was just told that they made their last repayment back to us for that 81,000.
Okay.
So that was an expense that went out last year.
Okay.
family court had a vehicle that was purchased last year. You know, these are all
Yeah.
unanticipated costs that have changed. And we had a maintenance truck too. So those are things that are just cyclical, because our unanticipated costs last year was over $200,000 at this point, and this year it's under 10,000. But we haven't had projects like that. So on the revenue side, our taxes are actually down collected to what we collected last year.
Yeah, right.
But there's a reason for that. Again, we didn't know that COVID was going to happen, and I don't know if we'd still make that same decision. But we usually have 3.2 inside millages, and we held 0.2. We didn't collect it. So we purposely under-collected taxes, and that was agreed upon to hold that from the current commissioners last year.
Right.
And we'll have to have a discussion this year. Do we hold that again, or we go back up to 3.2? But that's a later discussion with that.
Okay.
What's really surprising for us, that I'm going to say we're unique to a lot of other counties, is that our sales tax for 2020 is actually outpacing 2019. And if you talk to other counties, their sales tax are lagging because people aren't buying, sales are down. The biggest hit for our part of what we could lag was auto sales. Auto sales are down. You know, there's a portion where people where they were closed. You couldn't buy an automobile, but that's picking back up. But the retail part, what we've been seeing is there's been a few months that we were down, but like we see projections in like June sales tax, because this all lags, retail was up like 15 to 17%. So how is that? Well, people are still buying stuff. I'd say that our largest retailers are Walmart, the Dollar Generals. People are still going to those stores. And you're collecting the online, people pay sales tax on that too.
And they may be staying more local.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I was going to say, local.
On the flip side though, casino revenue, it was really an outlier number. That gets paid quarterly. Last quarter, it was down 92% from the quarter before. It's hard to collect casino revenues when they were down, when they were closed, excuse me.
Right.
But what did we report last month? That when they reopened, they're claiming that that's the busiest that they've ever been, revenue-wise. So I see where that's going to lag. We take that hit. It could, if that continues on.
Well, that'll catch up, because those people spend X number of dollars gambling, and they had it laid back because the casino was closed. Now that it's open, it'll fall back down again.
It will. But what really helped us with our revenues is this is a lagging of a revenue that's one time, is when the decision was made to close Country View Haven. We had so much fun in the Country View Haven Fund. We kept that money in Country View Haven Fund. We tore down Country View Haven. We had to replat it. I mean, we had to tear down the buildings. We had to pay unemployment costs. We had to pay workers' comp costs. And then we were comfortable there was a certain point that there is no more Country View Haven cost. And if there is, anything comes to us now, it's going to be paid out of the general fund. We transferred at the beginning of this year $415,000 from that fund to the general fund. So that move, at the time, we didn't realize how much it would help us. That's really softened our blow with that. We could sit here and claim that we're really smart on that, but I think it's a matter of timing, if you ask me that.
I agree, that was a matter of time.
So when I say, like, for example, our revenues are up $327,000 compared to last year. Well, $415,000 is because of a one-time Country View Haven. If that wasn't in here, I'm sitting here going, our revenues are down. So that's why I say I'll paint this. It's actually a pretty good picture. But there's a reason behind it with that. So our workers' comp payments have been, you know, they do that give back. I'll even say this on the record. I think it's somewhat of a shell game that, you know, we'll charge you all this, and then they turn around and go, we're going to give $1 billion back. Well, why don't you stop charging so darn much? You know,
I think isn't it supposed to drop 10%?
Well, we're supposed to get another portion back before the end of this year,
Yeah.
what I read.
Yeah,
Which they say is equivalent to what you paid in 2019.
2019, was that in the year?
Or 2018.
Something like that, yeah, it was one of
So
those years.
So it's gonna be over $100,000 more that we're gonna get from them.
Yeah,
In the past few years, we've actually gotten back more from them than what we paid in, which is great for us,
yeah,
but why pay it in?
yeah.
I agree,
When you give you know, I know they gotta protect themselves, I understand that, and I'm not gonna get on their tangent there.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting though, is they give it back and they encourage you to use it for wellness. Which is fine, wellness is a good thing to do,
Yeah.
but it was our money to begin with, we'll just reimburse those taxes to pay it for the next time.
Yeah.
And we've been able to run that cycle for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah,
So there's our wellness, it's wellness to our pocketbook that we'll be able to pay
Right.
next year before that, so. But any event, right now, we're looking pretty decent. See how things go. I think sales tax, we will outpace last year. And I think it's just a matter of, let me put it this way. If we're still talking about this April or May of next year, it might paint a different picture.
You gotta say that again.
I just kicked the can down the road. I sound like the state governor.
Yeah, right.
But we'll wait and see.
But this is, it's just a fluid situation.
Yeah.
Here's the picture. You know, to me, the bottom line is, we hold our costs wherever we can hold our costs.
Yeah.
And, we just keep things tight.
I'm real glad to hear that departments are, for the most part, holding their costs, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, since I've been commissioner, they always.
Yes, they have. They've been doing really well.
Have to give credit to,
Yep.
Commissioner Myers
Yep.
and Commissioner Von
Von
Buren
Buren, yes.
for
Coming up with the scheme they came up with. Yep.
Yeah, with a plan that,
Yep.
The departments have become very comfortable with, is
Yeah.
that you budget really tight, but if you encounter something where you need additional money,
You come to us.
come back to the table and do everything we can to help you. And we've seen that,
And we know.
time and
yeah.
time and time again.
And I think that helps everybody know where the expenses are going. It's not just getting frivoled away and saying, well, I got to spend this.
From time to time, individual basis, there's some outliers out there of like, we could have saved a little more by doing it this way or that way,
Yeah.
or maybe we shouldn't have dabbled into this project or that
Yeah.
project. But overall, in the big
Yeah.
picture,
Yeah.
everyone's done very well
Yeah.
with that. And it's to the, very proud that we are here in Henry County, very proud of what we have done with our CARES money, very proud that we
Yeah.
are very fiscal responsible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that when things happen, none of us anticipated this a year ago that was going to take place.
No.
We're in a position to provide the services to the public that we can
Right.
Mhm.
with that.
And we've taken care of, well, when we started out on this COVID journey, we took care of our, first responders and our medical people.
Mhm.
Then, made sure our senior citizens were fed and taken care of, and that's still going on. The next one was school.
Schools, yeah.
Kids who moved out of school into distance learning, we made sure, when the schools quit, their feeding programs, is that it was picked up and continue on, that the children, were fed.
Had that, yeah.
So and then we helped small business, the first round of CARES money. And hopefully this latest round that, soon to go to the House, we'll be able to do more.
What I find interesting with the small business you guys give you the credit on that. I mean, I was just a finance person on that. But I don't know if you had other counties, but there have been other counties that are now asking the questions about how they've done it, and I'm sitting here going, we've already did it and issued out over $170,000. So
Yeah.
we're really the leaders on that.
Yeah,
for that
we are the
small
leaders
business
on that.
part, so.
I think there's gonna be a webinar, we're gonna be featured
Next week,
yeah,
along with Ottawa County.
with Ottawa County.
And Mark Stahl, Commissioner Stahl's going to be on it.
Okay.
A couple other people will go.
Well, that's all I just wanted to present. I mean, it's a good picture, but yeah, let's hold cautious on this.
Yeah.
Let's not spend money that we don't have to. But a comfortable thing is like Bill was here, and, you know, I'm reading in the paper, $850,000 to $900,000 that we're gonna spend in 3
Yeah.
years for the renovation. You know, my caution to that is we still need to watch that cost so it doesn't creep up to 1.5, 2 million,
Yeah.
things like that. And I'm not saying it does, because
It easily happens.
we do need projects like that. I mean, she's only been up there 140 years, she needs to be taken care of a little bit.
Your hair needs to be redone.
Yeah, or maybe that's.
I mean,
Recolored and.
Yeah.
So that indoor or outdoors?
But we just need to, you know, we can cautiously afford those projects, and that needs to be done.
Yes, that's good. That's good to know, because we're definitely spending it. But I agree, we gotta be careful, you know, and why keep, scratch wherever we can.
Questions on anything? We talked a little bit about the CARES money earlier. Any questions about that?
We'll have to, get together, Kevin, and, maybe with Gwen or Michael, the three of us, you and somebody from the legal team, to talk about whether our, what we consider administrative leave that we paid people for is really eligible for CARES Act money.
I'd be really comfortable with having a prosecutor reviewing that.
I know, the conversation I had with Tracy is Tracy's been in, you know, up to his eyeballs and looking at the frequently asked questions. I've read through since the new round of guidelines came from OBM, and, yeah, because we'll cover that. If those expenses are eligible, our plan would be to cover that expense in the last round that's coming.
Yeah.
And then also our COVID account that we set up, our expense account, we'll need to set down more, I think.
There's two more projects that I know that are gonna be, they're just gonna call it COVID expenses or free. And that was some of the courthouse shields that they're putting up, the I don't want to use the word cop shields, but a nicer word to use it.
Yeah.
Instead of the other word.
Plexiglass.
Yeah, the plexiglass shields. Other people have called them other shields, but anyhow. Anyhow, those I think were billed to maintenance. I said, well, you need to put them down as COVID-19 expense. So what I want, and I think they're going to get the flammable storage lockers for like all the hand sanitizers that we got. We're going to store it in there. So what I did tell Eric is, you know, make sure you call it COVID-19, because if you're not submitting a project to me to do through the normal process, I said what I would like to do in the second round is, as this stuff gets, I know it's bought, it's purchased, and it's done, I would like for you and the commissioners and me to sit down, and then the money that was spent already, get that money retransferred back to where it was spent from, because it's a valid COVID-19 expense. Just that way I can clear that part out, and I don't have to worry about it. It's done, and that way we can continue on. But as soon as I know everything has been, like I say, everybody's getting quotes in right now, and my desk package keeps getting taller and taller over there. So I hope to work through it today and tomorrow, and hopefully next week we can, you know, when everybody has everything done, we can meet, or whenever you have time. It doesn't have to be next week, but just whenever you have time, the commissioners, we can go through that. And then however you tell us how you want to handle, or how you want to transfer it, it doesn't matter to me, just so I can put on my little checklist, and I'll just go through that whole list and mark it down and make it one project and call it, you know, COVID-19 expenses prior, you know, whatever.
Yeah, prior to.
Yeah, prior to, and that way it's just, I have one project, covers all the costs, it's done.
Yeah.
And we can run, and basically we can get it set up and tell me how you want to do it, run it through the same procurement process we've been doing, and that way everybody in the world, the prosecutor, everybody gets to see it.
Yep.
Say, have a say, get it done. Because the state really loves, I can tell the senior financial planner, because that's the lady I've been texting back and forth and emailing, really likes the fact of our process. She really loves the fact that everything is doing the quotes, getting it through, go through the prosecutor, go through the commissioners and you, all the way up one side, and the health commissioner. And then once you get procurement done, then there's a whole financial part of it, and they really like that. And matter of fact, in the last OMB circular, they actually want you to break it down into all the different categories where you spent the money. And I'm very proud of where we spent our money, because our first priorities, as you talked about, went to the seniors, went to, feeding those, it went into taking care of the health department. And I can tell you right now, in the small businesses, I can tell you right now, from what I heard from other places, that wasn't their first priority. So I'm very proud of our process and your involvement, the commissioner's involvement in doing this, because it has been instrumental in setting priorities and doing it right.
I think that wouldn't be too difficult to do. I just see, we could just pull invoices as long as the invoices are past March, and we basically can prove that they were expenses because of the COVID.
Yep.
We tally that up, and then
All you use is tell me where you want it to go.
Yeah, we use that as an invoice, and if this portion was a general fund expense, or if this portion was a different fund, and then we could issue that back directly to them.
Currently in that 53,770 account that we set up, the first money that came out was April 9th.
We're good.
And
24th March.
And through 8/31, we spent $8,470.
So that's still considered a micro purchase.
Yeah. And much of it is, would be,
Well, because if you remember at the time,
sanitation type stuff.
when we set that up, we had no idea that CARES money was coming.
Exactly.
And if we knew that we were still going to be dealing with this issue, I mean, I remember the conversations was going to be, 10,000 would be a.
I remember that conversation. I remember that conversation. Yeah, you're right.
It's not going to be hard at all to pull all the invoices off of there, because they're already in our system.
Yeah.
We just pull them, we got the documentation, like what Tracy said, we could still go through the process if we tally all that stuff up and reimburse the county for those expenses.
Yeah, I want to get that done in phase 2. And the phase, just so you know, phase 1 is the original money, phase 2 is the money that just showed up, and then phase 3 is to what is going to show up. That's how we've done it, everything in phases. That way we keep track of where we are.
What time we spent what?
For us, phase 2 is that, the money from the controlling board, that $175 million, which netted the commissioners around $220,000. And it was distributed the same way that round 1 did, using the local government fund. Now this next round at $650 million will be distributed based on population. But it's going to come out pretty close to the same, the complaints, and I think I just mentioned earlier, is from the larger counties that weren't fortunate enough to they weren't part of that 500 their money directly, that they're getting shortchanged. I don't know. You know, the small entities get shortchanged on the local government funds, and so I had sent an email to Rod, since they were had hearing on Tuesday on Senate Bill 357, and told him that for the three of us, we were fine with the formula they were using. I just made some suggestions to him about how to redistribute once it's used. And if nobody uses it, when it comes back into county, into Kevin's office, that it gets redistributed at a different percentage than what was first suggested. And so this, in 357 that just passed, it took, I don't know if it was from me or whatever, but they did change, when it's redistributed, the percentage coming back to the commissioners. So we're working at trying to make the biggest dent in this thing that we can. You and we've been helping the villages where we can, the townships that are interested. A lot of this is one time, we may never, hopefully we never see this again, honestly. One of the criteria we use is that whatever we purchase, is there going to be recurring costs that's going to affect the general fund? And we really seriously look at that and try to avoid that stuff as much as possible.
I have one quick question that I forgot to ask. We never set a completion date for the project.
What project?
Back to
the pizza shop.
A completion date.
Kevin, will you be able to kind of keep the books open? I know usually about second week of December, things.
Well, we can set a completion date on the project as like December 30th. If you even want to go into January, I'll support that. The only issue I have is the billing part of it.
But that would be the concern.
That's the concern.
And because we're supposed to send the money back that's not spent
By the 28th.
by the 28th. Now, if that date gets moved back, and that was a concern that when you were talking about it here, that I had, construction lags, and if we get billed in January or February, I don't know what happens to that. I mean, can we hold that if we have a purchase order?
Yeah,
I
if we
don't
got a
know
purchase
that.
order or have it,
Well, yeah, the guidelines under frequently asked questions, there's two questions that deal with that.
So does the money need to be encumbered? But I think it needs to be spent.
It has to be
by
spent.
the end of the year.
So I hate to say this, but December 28th would be the day I would pick.
For it to be completed?
Yeah.
I would pick November 28th, and then that gives them a month to type.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I'm thinking no later than December 15th. It's got to be the first part. It's gotta
But I
be the
agree with
first part
Kevin,
of
tell him it's
December.
gonna be done November 28th. That way, we can give them an extension and just, well, we got another 2 weeks on this.
Well, from,
I don't know what else is involved with it.
if we,
Yeah.
it's not,
But I do know if you give somebody 90 days to do something, they'll do it in 90 days. If you give them 30, they'll do it in 30.
Yeah.
the part that's gonna hold things up is going to be the drawing up of the plans and the approval process at, Wood County. That's what's gonna hold, is gonna hold things up. As far as what happens over here,
That will,
the demolition, putting the drywall back on the walls, it won't take that long to do.
do you want to make it the second week of December? Give you 2 weeks of 2 weeks of play.
What do you think, Jeff?
Sounds good to me. Good medium right there. Like to have the end of November,
Yeah.
but split it down the middle, middle of December, we could.
Or we could split it and say the first week of December, after the first week of December, or after Pearl Harbor,
Right.
Pearl Harbor Day. Whatever you think about to tell me, I'll change it to. I got that part of the document, and I was fixing everything, and I went,
Yeah.
ooh.
December 9 is, the second Wednesday of
Okay.
December.
December 9, got it. I'll go change it right now.
All right, Bob?
Yep.
Thank you.
Just looking at the calendar, and I have not, most likely our last check run will be the 17th or the 22nd of December.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying that we can't, I'm just saying that
Yeah.
most likely, because we cut that off early.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot easier to do it with the newer system than the older system, so even if we went like the 22nd.
Yeah.
So we reserved the right if we had to cut something. And payroll runs into this too, because we still have,
25th is the last.
when's the pay period? This
25th.
Pay period is we get paid on Christmas?
Yes.
Okay, so we get paid on the 24th. All right, that helps us.
Mhm.
Well, no, actually, it'd be better if it was the 18th, but that's okay. No, it wouldn't, because we would get paid the first.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not dealing with payroll then after that.
Yeah.
When we give the contractor notice to proceed, we will let them know
What's in the
that,
29th of the 9th?
they'll have to have the project finalized out by that next week.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
I apologize for not catching it before I walked out, but when I was finishing up to send it to Anna, I went, oh, we never sent this.
Should we start this, or is she waiting on it?
I don't know.
Maybe
Go ahead and start it, yeah.
That's it.
Okay, Kevin?
I'm just gonna mention this briefly. It was on my list of things. It's not an issue too much right now. We were having a few departments that are using the credit card probably a little bit too much. And I've been talking with them one-on-one. The tough part about it is the revised code's pretty specific on what you could spend it on. But, and I think part of it is because of COVID and people are used to just going on to Amazon and buying this or going here and buying that. Yes, I got this credit card, and so I've had a discussion with a couple departments already on a few times to go, no. If we ever get to this point, then it's going to become a further discussion. I'll get you guys involved. But if we have to, and I don't want to do this, I'm just not going to pay it. And then, how would the departments pay it? I'll say this, the issue of the card is really the one that's responsible for the payment of that.
Yeah, whoever signed for that card.
And if that person wants to go to the person that did the payment, I would hate to see I'll just say a deputy of a department get stuck for paying something for the county because they charge with a credit card. But before we get to that point, they will be fairly warned.
Okay, as long as they're warned, as long as they're warned.
With that. And again, we don't want to do that.
I think that's a good way to handle it, Kevin, as you see that suspect.
Well, I don't have a right to decline or take away a credit card. Commissioners do. Because they're supposed to be all approved through you guys, no matter, even mine. You can unapprove it. Approve, engineers, family court, transportation, whoever you want to see. We'd probably end up doing that first before not sticking to somebody.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you see charges that are not compliant.
Well, and the funny thing is, the charges are legit.
Yeah.
It's just that.
Yeah, right.
The revised code says you can't buy this with credit card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good deal.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, see you, Kevin. Thanks for bringing that in, appreciate it.
Christina, good morning. Good morning.
Christina, can you hear us?
Good morning.
There she is.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I apologize for being late. I said I'd be here at 11:15. We were having technical difficulties.
Well, we were later than you, so.
No big deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I guess
Okay. Yeah, hang on, right, yeah.
we're here today.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, go ahead.
I think I just froze her.
I think it's on her end.
Today, talk about the CARES.
Oh, boy.
Hey, Christina, we can't hear you. Let's, probably the best thing for us both to do is reboot our systems and start over. And, so that's what we're going to do here. And if it happens again, we'll just reschedule.
Oh, she's dropped off, yeah. End meeting?
Yep.
And now start again?
No,
Restart your computer.
go up and X out,
Excel?
go over to the side and restart the computer
Over here?
Mm-hmm.
to the right.
No, that's right there. You were correct at that little window thing,
This thing,
yeah. And then that,
shut it down?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Then you'll just have to turn it back on.
Love this.
Give me the 80-10. I'm gonna have a time machine and I'm going back.
Until it's all screen over to
No, you need the computer back on.
Turn it, how do you do that?
There's a button on it somewhere.
On this computer back here?
Yeah. Yeah.
That it?
No,
something.
Oh, come on. I'll turn mine on.
there it goes. If you hit restart, you don't go through that.
Yeah, I knew that as soon as I clicked it, yeah.
It's a quick
Quick way,
flash of
yeah.
memory. It doesn't clean stuff
Yeah.
out as
Yeah.
well as when you shut it completely off.
Yeah.
But,
My mistake, I knew that.
Do you know the password?
why don't you log it in?
No,
Oh, you don't know, okay.
no. Oh, it's under there. I knew that.
I know our internet connection home's dropping squirrely.
How do I sign in? Or join a meeting, right? Wait, whoa.
Was it an email or where was that?
It was an email. You can close out of that, and I think your email down to next to the Zoom button on your,
Oh, right there.
yeah.
Is this where mine is gonna be on for tomorrow's meeting also?
And then if you hit,
Right there?
I think,
No?
search. Where was that?
Where are we at?
Let me go with Brian real quick.
Scroll on here.
That's all there is. And that's what we got right there. Hopefully.
What is this about? What
It is.
This CARES Act grant. So we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
Yeah, it's a mystery. As soon as Mr. IT gets us hooked back up. Oh.
I'm in here. TDBG money.
Oh, there she is. Oh, no, that's
That's just a reminder.
Okay, dismiss that?
Yeah. Click on that one way down there. Nope. Over to the right. Yep. And it's gonna be just like that. Yeah, click sign in.
Sign in?
Yep. And start.
Oh, start video?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
There she is.
Are you back?
Everybody's computer in my office using it. So my folder is in my office. I thought it was running grab it. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
1 second.
All right. How do we turn her down? Yeah.
Sure.
Is there any way we can turn her down?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Either turn her down on the volume control on the TV or
Where's that
on the
at?
computer.
Alright, I'm so sorry about that.
That's okay.
So, we'll get started right away to balancing one time. So, I'm Christina here, I'm working on the CARES Act grant. I just found out this morning that the state agency we are working through was given, $25 million, and they have only received $4 million in requests. And they're accepting pre-applications on a rolling basis. So, if you know anybody in your community that could also submit, pre-applications to me, let them know and give them my contact information.
Okay.
But, for right now, we have 4 pre-applications for services throughout the county. And so I can explain some things about this to you, or if you've had a chance to look over everything and you have questions for me, I would be happy to answer them for you.
No, we just need you to go through it. I haven't taken the time to read through it.
I did read through it, but,
Okay. So, really, all I need from you today is tell me if you are okay with me submitting these pre-applications to the state. You just need to give me a yes or no. And then I submit them to the state agency, and then they will let us know if what we have proposed in this, is eligible or not to move on to the grant application process.
right. Okay. So for these 4, Kinder Campus, NOCAC school, what school district?
For Kinder Campus, what school district?
No, it says, yeah, one's for Kinder Campus, one's for NOCAC, and then it says school district. I forgot what that was for.
Yeah, the Napoleon Area School District.
Napoleon, okay. Oh,
So all school districts can apply, and I've tried reaching out to all of them. I haven't gotten, so I've only gotten a response from Napoleon
Okay.
Area. So if you guys have maybe better contacts than I do, because all I could do, or what I did was I did spend hours Google searching, education, organizations, school districts in the county, other services, and I contacted everybody that I could find.
Okay.
So if you have better connections to school districts, to food pantries, give them my name and my email, and I can send them a free application, and they can also submit, fill out and submit. It's not too late.
okay. What is the cutoff date on this stuff then? If it's not too late, what is the cutoff date?
They don't have one.
No?
They don't have one. When I first started working on this, the state didn't even know how much money they were going to receive. They just knew it was a lot, and they wanted to start getting, the pre-applications in.
Okay.
And I think they found out how much they had last week. Like I said, they have $25 million to give out, but they have only received, $400 million in requests. So they have about $21 million left to give out to organizations throughout the state.
So this is open basically to anybody?
Yes and no. It's more open to organizations that provide public and social services.
Okay, okay.
So that is something else that I am working on with more funding for at a later date, and that is more for you're able to help the private businesses.
Okay.
This fund, which like I said, we just got word of that today, so I don't have information about
Okay.
that grant today.
Okay, that's interesting.
But this grant we have in front of us, education, recreation services, it's all in that program, you know this.
Yeah.
OCG 19-06 that I sent, I believe I sent you. So child care, education, healthcare, public safety, senior services, job training, drug abuse counseling, rent mortgaging utilities, fair housing, home services, recreation, transportation, and legal services are what are eligible to submit a pre-application to the state board.
Okay. The school district should have got in on this.
They may have, but it's also, with the school districts, it's a matter of timing. When you're,
Right.
When you're kind of trying to put your
Yeah.
school year together.
Well, that's why I'm curious if there was a
Put
time.
it together, then redo it.
Right, then redo it, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
And it,
That's the nice thing about this pre-application is once we submit the pre-application, the state will tell us if we're eligible to move on the actual grant application. So after this, we'll know if organizations are eligible, and they won't have to spend all the time they normally do filling out the entire grant application and then submitting that and then.
Okay. So there's obviously no time limit on when this money is spent, because this is gonna be kind of drug out, isn't it?
we'll still be talking about this next year this time.
I bet we will. Okay. All right,
You just need us to say yes or no to this stuff.
to these four?
That's to be for.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't have anything about it.
I don't have a problem.
No, I'm fine.
We're good with it, Christina, go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you. And like I said, if you have any contacts, if you could reach out to them or send me their contacts, that would be really wonderful, because of course we want to help with funding as much as we can for services that are eligible for the money.
Yeah.
You mean contacts for other people? Is it?
Yeah, so
Okay,
if you
okay.
have contacts,
Okay.
just contact the school district, to counseling centers, food banks, anything like that.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay, if I come up with somebody in that, what about our senior center?
Yeah, so the Fulton County Senior Center, they just submitted I just submitted a request on behalf of them.
Okay.
So it's not a senior center that they would get to apply to. Okay.
All right, well, thank you. If we find some more, we'll let you know.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too, bye-bye.
Bye. This is gonna be drug out for 3 frickin' years yet. Watch it. Because that just tells me right there, they're gonna continue this, and they're putting a deadline on us spending the money. What gripes me about that is, they're putting a deadline on us spending the money, then they turn around and start this up at this late date of the game here. I don't understand this.
Who are the, Timber Campus, Napoleon, and,
It is,
The Northwest Ohio Food Bank,
yeah,
Harvest, their Harvest Market program.
that's the ones that have been giving out food over
They
here.
service, they
Yeah.
service Henry County.
Yeah,
It's the one with the National Guard.
what's the name of this grant?
So
Different things out there.
here, you can have this.
yeah, you can have this packet if you want it.
Yeah. Here.
Yeah, take a pack in case you think anybody, Todd, give us the name of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, no, you're not eligible, sorry. Or are you gonna buy a pizza shop? Yeah, I see ya.
Have a good weekend, don't talk to you before.
I just, it kinda gripes me a little bit, they're pushing us, and then they turn around and bring this out at this late date of the game.
They have 21 million left.
Oh.
So there's a push, they want to use, apparently State wants to use it.
Yeah,
So
okay.
there's a push to use that.
Yeah.
So it's been out for a while.
Oh, this has been out.
It's gotta be.
It said issued May 1st.
Excuse me.
Through May 1st?
It said it was issued May 1st.
Okay.
Program.
Oh, they issued May 1st, you're right, I see it there, okay.
Yeah, May 1st, school districts are still trying to review it.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing, yeah.
All right, it is 11:42. Is there anything else for the good cause?
I don't think so. Do we have that meeting up here on our, for tomorrow? My meeting?
You wanted to say?
Yes.
I could probably have them do that.
Yeah, have somebody move it over here for me, and it starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Yep.
It'll be I and Jeff, and I think Cameron's coming over here, I think.
I just come through and just watch you guys. Just
You could. You're invited, you can come.
Bring the popcorn.
Yeah, bring it.
I've been to them.
I've been to them, yeah.
Been to them.
Yeah, you come from me, so
Ever.
Yeah.
Will you ride with Chris Pepper? Trip just seems to fly by. You really don't get a chance to talk.
You're thoroughly entertained, yeah.
Yeah, you are.
When
He's quite a character.
Dave Von Buren was still doing his bus trip to Tiger Stadium in America. I won't have invited, but set by Chris. On the way up, set by Chris. The ball game set by Chris on the way back. He never stopped talking. We were standing over on the roof of, what was it, Hockey Town? And I couldn't believe it, and he just, and then there's this, you talk to Jeff Bolton's partner, he said, Chris, that's
the way he is.
When he wants to unwind, he seems to talk more.
Yeah.
And Jeff is a lot like me.
Yeah.
When I want to get away, just kind of be by myself. Regroup.
Yeah. But the smile that Chris has on his face, when I used to pick up these kids, when they went to Hope Services and they live over there on, didn't they live on 424 there or something? Yeah. You pull up there in the morning, you come out and bring the little boy or little girl, I can't remember if it was a boy or a girl.
Yeah, a daughter.
Bring her out, and he'd be smiling like that at 6:30 in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning. He'd have that grin. I think, seriously, dude? Yeah.
Yeah, he's fun to be around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't not like the guy.
He'll give you a shot, and he takes them.
They were both in my class, they were the same, Jeff and Chris were both in my class.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And Chris and I went to the same church too, so kept us entertained.
Oh, yeah.
Hasn't changed a bit,
They
yeah.
weren't involved with that group that did something, what was that was Hawks, that was that shop, wasn't it a pizza shop?
Bob's Pizza?
Yeah. Were you part of that somebody,
No.
pierced a shaving cream can and threw it inside?
Oh, no, I never heard that.
You weren't in on that? Well,
Maybe when you turn to a corner rough, you might say something different.
I never heard that story. Well, do you know who the prosecutor was at the time, Henry County prosecutor? Was Ed Pepper.
Oh.
So, you can kind of put together, his son was involved, Jeff Bolton was involved, I think there were 4, because Pepper will tell about it.
Oh, my God.
From Jeff. We had a group get together at his house one time, and we were talking about stuff that we did. He told that, I can't wait to see Pepper. His dad was assistant prosecutor. They were pretty, PD was pretty tough one. Okay.
Oh, yeah, he talked about that one time, he said they got him downtown. We're
If you weren't gonna say anything until I said something to him.
Yeah.
Okay, ending on a high note like that,
Yeah.
would there be a motion to adjourn?
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, Hannah?
Jeff Mayer?
Yes.
Glenn Miller?
Yes.
Bob Hudson?
Yes.
We are adjourned at 11:46 a.m.